Welcome to the Judgment Free Zone. You've downloaded the Alcohol-Free Marriage Podcast, episode number 13 for June 27th, 2022.
Now adjust the volume control so that the sound can be heard in all parts of the room.
Recorded live from the cornfields of Central Illinois, you're listening to the Alcohol-Free Marriage Podcast with Matt and Amy. Come and learn and share a journey with two former craft beer enthusiasts who went from daily drinkers to teetotalers and basically never lost their love for their life together.
Hey, a freak show!
Well, hello, children. Welcome back to the freak show that is the Alcohol-Free Marriage Podcast, episode 13, lucky number 13. I'm Matt, along with the always lovely Coach Amy. How are you, my love?
I'm great, and that is so cool because
What?
13
Is our lucky number.
is a lucky number.
I don't know if it's everybody's lucky number, but it's our lucky number.
Like in our family it is.
In our family it is. So
Because we've got
we have birthdays and
we have
anniversaries
birthdays,
and addresses.
anniversaries, like my birthday, my sister's birthday, my grandma's birthday.
My parents' anniversary, my address
yeah.
growing up. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just
Yes. A multitude of
it
places
is.
where
it is a really thing. It's a cool
a plethora,
number.
some would say, Amy.
Cool number. So maybe this show
will be lucky 13. Roll the dice, Amy. Roll the dice.
It will be so lucky.
I would love to ask you how your week's been, but we're doing this a little time shifted, so it hasn't been that much of a week. So how's your day been?
My day has been great.
Busy. You've been
I will tell
quietly
ya.
working here like a little squirrel in your...
Yeah, I'm I don't know. I tell you what. It's not easy.
Not easy being green, Amy.
It is not easy being green, and I will tell you, technology.
But you know what? It's part of running your own business.
I know,
You know
but
what?
there's certain things that I'm gonna have to farm out.
They always talk... Well, that's true. They tell you.
I'm going to have to because I'm working
You're a
on
great
it.
coach, not so good at the technology part.
I'm not so good at technology, but you know what? I am learning. That's the great thing about all of this, is that I just
You know your limits.
well, not only that, but I just enjoy. I do enjoy learning. I always have. I love history.
Amy, make teaching your favorite. Make teaching your favorite.
I love self-improvement.
You love self-improvement, and you love self-improving me.
Keep trying.
In our house, we call that coaching.
I keep
You keep
trying.
trying.
No, but
I've been very productive as well.
it has been a productive day. Which, yeah, I guess it's Monday. And
There you go.
I had a
why,
whole...
Why you got to do the day? You could just pretend it's been a couple more days than that, but yes.
Okay, I don't care. They don't care.
I give the date at the beginning. It is when they listen to it. It's that date, so that's fine.
Okay, well, it is that day, and that is a Monday.
That is a Monday, so there you go. Pretend it's the Monday you're listening to this.
Because I have done a reframe. So we're just going to jump in. I know we don't really have a tip, but this is not a long thing, but you need to reframe Mondays, because Mondays are always a day where people are like, oh, it's Monday. I
think there's a song about Mondays.
I don't want to do this. Mondays, people.
Monday, people.
We have
I
to
don't like
take
Monday
back Monday.
Let's
We
make a
have
t-shirt.
to take it back.
Monday.
We have to take it back, and we have to be excited about Monday. It is a new week full of new opportunities.
Gary Vee always says, if he feels sad for people who are like, oh, look forward to the weekend and hate Mondays. He's
No.
like, if you love your job, you should love going back to work. I mean, I don't love going back to work, but I don't
You
hate
should
going
just
back to work.
love Mondays. It's the start of a new week. It's a new beginning. It's a new start. Whatever you want to do.
There's a guy in Jerry Maguire, the older coach guy. I hit the ground in the morning. I go, ready to take on the day.
There you go. Yes.
All right, well, speaking of taking on the
So-
day, Amy, what is your drink of the week?
Well, apparently on Monday,
Drink of the day.
it's the Bravus Brewing Company.
That was 2 weeks for Bravus.
I know. It's the Oatmeal Stout. I just love it.
It's very good. Very
I
good.
have loved stouts for a long time.
You just don't
so-
love the microphone. Mine is a very kind of a basic. It's a Budweiser Zero, who was the sponsor of the 7th inning stretch of the Cubs game you went to.
I know.
Yes.
That was so exciting.
Yeah. So it's
I mean, I know they're making money on this. Like this is not this is not.
It's not charitable.
But it is nice that there are options.
There are options, but the Bud Zero is pretty good. I actually think I like the Bush better than the Bud, but the Bud is a solid beer. Plus, it's the cheaper of the group, like $10 a 12-pack. So
there you go.
So it's a value beer. We'll put it that.
The value beer of the week.
And as far as feedback, you can always feedback at afmpodcast.com. And we actually got some feedback, Amy, from Gretchen, who helped us remember we probably need better show notes because she actually was on a road trip and listened to the entire catalog. It's not that big of a catalog. It's more of a leaflet right now, but
she was binging us.
Yes.
Ooh, that's exciting.
But she was asking about your journaling tips you gave on one of the episodes. And we weren't exactly sure. I think we found it eventually, but I sent back the tips.
I think we did.
But she's a super fan. So Gretchen,
we need to mark her down.
Gretchen, if that wasn't the right episode, I'm sorry. Try again, call her.
Well, no, we have the thing is, I've talked a lot about journaling, and here's the thing: I've also talked a lot about journaling with other people, and clients. And so when you say, "Well, what is that?" It's like, "Oh, well, that could be."
A lot of things.
It could be anything. So I think we did because I remember, I'm pretty sure that we sent her the right thing.
You did. She got back. So
okay, good.
We're all over it. So,
because I had another friend who also commented on that particular podcast as well to me about those questions. So
you can always feedback to Amy at amy@joyontheotherside.com. But speaking of coaches and Amy and interviews, Amy, we have an interview this week.
I know. It's so exciting.
Tell us about our interview.
We just finished up a interview with Libby and Jose Villagomez, and they are in Atlanta, Georgia. And I met Libby through This Naked Mind on our coaching. We were in the same graduating class, and it was one of those where I was just kind of talking about, the Alcohol-Free Marriage podcast, and she was like, "We both don't drink." She goes, "I'll be on your podcast." I'm like, "Come on." So it's been exciting.
So they came
on. I think you will enjoy the interview. They are a funny group, the two of them, and they have a unique story.
Yeah. So if you don't want to listen to it, just listen to it. You always go to the YouTubes and watch Alcohol-Free Marriage Podcast on the YouTube and see us in living color. But let's cut to it, Amy. Let's get to the interview with Jose and Libby.
Well, welcome to the show, Libby and Jose Villagomez. Did I say that correctly?
Yes.
Awesome. Cool, because I am horrible.
Well, Gomez for short.
Awesome. Well, I just wanted to welcome both of you to the Alcohol-Free Marriage Podcast. And this is really, really exciting for us because we have not interviewed another couple who are living more of an alcohol-free lifestyle. Am I correct on that? Awesome.
Yeah, I'm actually 2 years alcohol-free next month. And we've been married 13 years and I've never seen him with a drink in his hand ever. So he's never in my life with him has been drinking at all.
Wow. That for us, we're like, wow. I mean, that's for me.
Yeah.
It's 13 years and maybe it's longer, but for me that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So that was something that was not even an option. I didn't realize that you couldn't
do that.
Yeah. I thought you had to always drink. That's one of the bad things in my life, I guess. But
that makes my shame and blame even much worse because he's the one that had to put up with all my BS of drinking. So I don't know how he stuck around with all that.
It's your accent.
I figured she had to put with my BS too. So like she says, it kind of evens out. But I'm waiting for her to say, "Okay, I'm done with you. I'm out."
Well, hey, first I'm just going to start off, tell us a little bit about the two of you, how you met, where you're from, and maybe what you do for fun.
Well, I'm from Atlanta. Oh, no, wait. I'm from Australia originally. I lived there for my first 40 years of my life. So my life pretty much began at the age of 40. And we met in a chat room by my ex-boyfriend. So he introduced me to him. And remember the old Yahoo chat messenger, that has been dead for years now, but that's where we met, and we became best friends for 4.5 years. Before we were dating other people, we weren't exclusive with each other until he eventually told me how he felt about me, and 6 months later, here I am.
Wow.
So we are an internet success story.
That's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
I'm not sure if you've heard that story before, have you, Amy?
I don't think I had. I just knew I knew you met online. That was basically it.
Yep, met by my ex-boyfriend. But that's right. 6 months later, I was here with 2 suitcases, and that's where my life began. So, I came over here. Within 7 months, I got my employment card before my green card, got my social security number, started working because I just am an independent woman and I just don't like relying on other people. So I started off my career as a mobile dog groomer at PetSmart, because we'd never seen PetSmart type stores back at home. So I told Jose how wonderful it would be to work with animals. And he says, well, just apply. And one thing led to another. I did my training and stayed there 2 years and then went off my own business.
Well, that's so cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
So what do you guys do for fun?
We have fun. we go out to restaurants. We try and make it at least every week or two. We go out to dinner and our work schedules are constantly conflicting, so it just depends.
Yeah, I'll be lucky if I get a weekend off now. I used to have weekends off all the time, but now it's different. Now that I'm working somewhere else, it's a little more difficult.
So what do you do, Jose?
I work at AutoZone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm a manager there.
Previous employment.
And then before that, I was in law enforcement.
Yep, I knew that part. I just wanted you to share.
Yeah, I was for 27 years. I retired, and at a good time too. So I'm doing pretty well.
Good.
Doing well. So I'm enjoying it. I sleep better. I'm not as stressed out.
I bet.
And now I know who to contact when I need automotive tips.
Or legal advice. How to get somebody evicted from their home.
Oh, goodness. So I wanted to now, we'll go ahead and we'll kind of hand this over to you, Libby. If you want to tell us, about your journey from, I guess, your drinking career, then all the way fast forward up to now being an alcohol-free coach.
Okay, well, I've always went into the drinking. Drinking in Australia was 18, not 21 like it is here. So at 18, or in fact at 15, I was going out to become friends out in social settings. I was nervous, but I wanted to be grown up like them. So the way to do that was to drink alcohol. And to be honest, wine was the furthest from my mind. I couldn't stand the stuff. It was the mixer drinks, the sweet stuff, the stuff that got me intrigued. So it started off being social. And as you and I know, we do it social when you were young. And I guess it didn't really become a problem until I had an emotional breakdown in my 30s. Oh, yeah, in my 30s, I was drinking more and then I had an emotional breakdown. So I went to a mental health facility for 2 weeks. And funnily enough, out of that, I just came out 18 months alcohol-free, not a problem at all. And then Jose and I were kind of more committed to each other at that time. And I don't know, for some reason, a friend of mine took me out and I just decided to drink again. I thought, I can give up anytime I want to give up drinking, so this isn't a problem. Then I came over to the United States, and then that's when it became a problem. It wasn't stressful being here, but it was a new country, a new husband, a new life, a new everything. And that's when I started blacking out, and that was scary. But that still continued for another 10 years. That's when I realized well, when the awareness came in, I realized there was a problem. So I tried the AA for 3 years. That first 18 months, I never had a sponsor at all. I couldn't find one. Nobody wanted anything to do with me. I don't know why. They said they had too many sponsors or whatever, and it wasn't a very positive environment for me, so it didn't work. But the first 18 months in AA was the second stint of 18 months without alcohol. So I thought, well, this is easy. Maybe I don't have a problem. At the end of the 3 years, my self-confidence and that had eroded from going to AA. So I tried everything else. I tried all the podcasts I could listen to, all the books I could read, the whole everything. And I got an email from Annie, and I thought, I'm seeing Annie's emails all too many times. It's just pissing me off. I'm getting so many of them. I'm not going to get any more. And then it was the one where she was talking about, in the end, being alive. And she did it all by hand. And for some reason, it just clicked. I said, I have to join up. So I joined up in the path, and within 8 weeks, I became alcohol free. Within 8 weeks. And I've not looked back ever since. That was almost 2 years ago, as I said before. And I guess it because it took me 10 years to try and find that solution to my problem, I thought not everybody else has to go through this whole 10 years worth of trying and failing and trying and failing. So I'm going to try and give back and show people what it can be like to give up for good, with alcohol being just irrelevant in my life now. So that's my little journey. So yeah, now I'm hopefully setting up my business and going ahead in that way.
That's awesome.
So Libby, when you were drinking, what was your I guess max per day, and what was your drink of choice?
I ended up drinking the wine because it was elegant and I could romanticize it, and this is what everybody on TV does. So I was a binge drinker. After a night of binge drinking and blacking out, I could not stomach wine the next day. But 2 or 3 days down the track, there I was drinking again. It's like, oh, well, romanticizing it. Settles me down at the end of the day, because as I said, I had a business, I had clients, I had accounting, I had all this stuff going on in my business. And I just guess it pushed all my stress down, all the feelings down. I'll deal with this another time, and just drink myself to the point of blackout or sleeping, and wake up the next day and do it a couple of days later.
So Jose, since you haven't at least drank as long as you guys have been together, what were you thinking, or what were you going through, or what was your, what were your thoughts during this whole time before, while she was drinking, while she quit and then drinks again?
Well, my emotions were up and down. There were some days that I had hope, and some days that I didn't have hope. Like I said, when she went to AA, everything was good. Everything seemed positive, and I was enjoying the fact that she was sober. I enjoyed being around her. When she's intoxicated, I hated being around her. I mean, for me, it was depressing because she was doing this to herself. And the reason I stopped drinking was because I wanted to help support her in that way, which is why I stopped drinking. I mean, I never really drank that much. I did on occasion, but very far and few. Because alcoholism does run in my family too. As a matter of fact, I had an uncle die at 51 years old from alcoholism, and then just day before yesterday, found out that my cousin passed away from drinking.
Oh man!
So yeah, it runs in my family. So and my parents would always make fun of me or kind of bring me down being Hispanic and all this, how Hispanic families are. It's like they say, you're going to end up just like your uncle, drunk. Well, I kind of fought on that one and just said, no, I'm not going to end up like that. But seeing her like that, it broke my heart, because I knew she was better than that. And like I said, I had ups and downs, and there were times, and when I'd come home late from work, and she would be drunk, and honestly, I didn't want to deal with her because I'd already been dealing with it all day long, and then having to come home and then deal with her intoxication. She would ask me, well, what's wrong? I would tell her, I'm tired. I just want to go to bed. And I would 8, 9 o'clock, I'd be in bed asleep because of that. And it wasn't because I didn't want to be with her. It's just I didn't want to be with her intoxicated.
Sure.
With her being intoxicated. So,
sure.
and that would be the reason that I wouldn't, go to bed early and everything. Other than that, most of the time I'd sit with her, and at least she'd be able to see me on the computer doing something, or we'd shoot the breeze every now and then. And, she'd say something funny, or I'd show her something funny, or she would show me something funny, and we'd laugh. And because when she first came here, right before we went to bed, we'd be cracking up laughing and making jokes and picking on each other and giving each other a hard time. We laugh a lot. We pick on each other. She does things that make me laugh, and everything catches me off guard. And I'm like, and that's the Libby. I mean, I just adore that, when she does that kind of stuff, when she makes me laugh. But when she was intoxicated, she was very abusive verbally, and it didn't hurt my feelings. I just got frustrated with it because I knew that she could do better.
Did you know that that wasn't the real me? Like, the words coming out of my mouth while I was drunk weren't what I was really thinking, that it was just alcohol. Like, people say that alcohol, when you're, all of a sudden I become Jekyll and Hyde. I'm a completely different person. But they say when you're drinking, all of a sudden the truth comes out of your mouth. But what I was saying was not the truth, was it?
No, a lot of times the person that came out of her was her mother.
Oh, wow.
I mean, the things that she said were saying to me was pretty much the same things that probably her mother had said to her.
My mother is a narcissist, so I put up with a lot growing up.
And with that, and then she told me what her mother was like, and I just kept hearing her mother's name is Denise. That's all I kept hearing, Denise. I'm like, that's not the Libby I know. The Libby I know, she loves to laugh, she loves to pick, she loves to be picked on, especially by me, and and then but I could tell that there was a completely different person, and she was right, Jekyll and Hyde. That's exactly what it was, and everything's like, and I knew that wasn't her. I knew that she was not an abusive person, but when that alcohol kicked in, she was abusive. Not all the time. If I had to guess, 45% of the time she was. The other, she was kind of just herself. She was a loving person at times, but it was just one of those that was alcohol induced. Genuinely,
I think it became really bad towards the end when, as a mobile dog groomer, I was grooming one of his colleagues' dogs, and she ended up becoming his supervisor. And then one day she texted me and said, "Oh, can I fit my dog in to get groomed?" And then because I'd been drinking, all of a sudden this nastiness came out. "Oh, well, you only contact me when you want me to groom your dog. You don't contact me because you're actually friends with us." And when I saw all this the next day, this was his boss. And so, of course, I was worried he was going to get fired, and I'm trying to backtrack. And, this could affect him. Like, he was a police officer at the time. And so, yeah, that was a pretty scary time.
You were getting kind of 10 foot tall and bulletproof, weren't you?
Yeah, well, and then one of the things that, then my supervisor, she called me up, and she was crying because it hurt her feelings because of what she had said. And so I was like, I told her I'll talk with her. And I told her at that point, it's probably a good idea you just not make any contact with her, just let her be, until, and I mean, she said she's texted her, spoke with her, however she did, and apologized to her. And I understand. I mean, some things are just,
But you can't repair those type of relationships once you've done that much, even though we had been friends for many years before then. Once you do something like that, it's almost like that relationship is irreparable for some reason. That you can forgive yourself, but you can't expect somebody else to forgive you. Even though you've been good all those 99 times, that 100th time is what breaks it.
Oh, goodness. I can relate, not with my journey with Matt, but in my previous marriage. That's how I drank with my ex, because he was pretty abusive and, verbally. And so then I would drink, and then I would lash out like that with him and would say all kinds of stuff. And, the texting and all of that kind of stuff, you're like, oh my gosh, that's awful. And
did he do that to you as well?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. So I can completely understand what you're saying with that. And it's like you're a completely different person.
Yes, it's I still have hard time sometimes because I know that we could have had friends had it not been for my drinking.
But you can now.
We can start building friendships around now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, now that you have changed and you've been alcohol free for 2 years, what has been the reaction from your family and friends? How is that?
My family, obviously I'm in touch with my family only online, but I told them what was happening, but I didn't tell them straight away because I had failed myself that many times that I never even told my family that I had tried giving up drinking by going to AA and all that sort of stuff, because I just know that they probably would have been worried about me. And it's really hard to see your family when they're in Australia and I'm here. So
Sure.
So I didn't really tell them. And the person I'm closest to is my nana, who she's just about to turn 97.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, but earlier on, when she had her brain all together, when she was completely there, she just couldn't be more proud of me. She just, she was very supportive. And then my auntie, who I know drinks and has an issue, but as you know, you don't realize you have an issue with alcohol unless you're aware of it yourself and you want to do something about it. But I think she kind of maybe drink a little bit too much, but that's her life. But she supported me too. It's like, oh, this is great. We knew you'd do better things with your life. And because they were proud of me for starting my own business, which is now almost 10 years old, my business. And, so that was a success. And then this drinking is a success. And they just watched the journey. I think from another country, it's like watching a movie. Every now and again, you just pick up a new part of the what do they call it? A new episode of your journey. Episode 564 of Libby. Okay.
That would be a great show. It sounds like a show.
It would be a comedy.
I got it.
Yeah.
I can see it. So what has been the most unexpected thing that has happened to you both since Libby has quit drinking?
First.
I think I'm a lot more calm. My stress and anxiety decreased, which is something I didn't expect and didn't know about until I learned about that. For the fact that I'm not off of my anxiety or what's that medication? The medication I take for the antidepressants. Okay. I'm not quite ready to go off or reduce those yet, because I've been on them for so long. The anxiety medication I'm not on at all. But the way I deal with situations, that surprises me too. It's like, oh, in the past I would have got upset with or stressed at how I was going to deal with that and didn't want to deal with it. So I drank to cover it all up. So I think, my desire to keep improving as well myself. It's like, oh, well, if I give up drinking, I'll just, that's it. Life goes back to normal. But no, just my desire to want to do more and more and more.
Yeah.
I don't want to end my life like I used to want to. I now want to move and do more things.
Yeah.
I would have to agree with her on that one. She's doing a lot more. She's a lot more wanting to push forward. And, it's like before the worst part is like every Christmas, it was terrible for me because she would always be intoxicated. Now, the last couple of Christmases, they've been great because she's been in a better mood. Her mood has improved.
Maybe give me good Christmas presents during those years.
Buy her car or something, maybe. But she has definitely improved. She doesn't seem as stressed. I mean, she still stresses out over some things. She still gets upset over some things, but then the way she deals with them a lot better. And I could definitely see an improvement there. There's a lot of improvement, and of course we all could use improvement, like even me. I'm almost perfect, but not quite there.
I'm coaching him now.
Yeah, and she's actually coached me on a few things, and I'm surprised, not because of what she's telling me, because I hear her talking when she's on other Zoom calls, but it surprises me that it's like something so simple. It's just you have to hear the information, and she puts it in a way that makes it's easy to understand and easy to, to put in your mind. And it's like, okay, it's not that, it's just, you have to practice it a lot.
Well, that's what coaches do. Coaches have the clarity to see things that you can't see yourself.
Yeah.
Well,
And that's probably what surprised you too, right?
Yeah, it did. It's like, I tell people, and it's like, you're standing in your own litter box. You don't smell it or you don't see it, but other people who are outside, you can't see it and they can smell it. And it's like, when you're standing in your litter box, you don't see it and you don't smell it, but other people can.
That's what my cat's problem is.
Yeah.
So, Jose,
it's a good way to put it.
when you're married to a coach, it's not called nagging, it's called coaching.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's
Big difference.
We can start a support group.
Change that.
We can have a support group of husbands of coaches.
I'm gonna get one of those T-shirts that says "Coach" on the back and everything, and just go with that.
Training and coach. Yeah, there you go.
Just come in, hey, coach.
Oh, that is great, because I know for me, Libby, I think you and I have shared this together when we've had some conversations about being on the antidepressants and anxiety medication. And my story, the fighting it or trying to get out of drinking was about 10 years. It was about 10 years, but 7 years where I really was wanting to quit, but I just didn't know how, and I didn't want to fail. But like you said, I didn't know that it was causing my depression to be worse and my anxiety to be just over the top, where you just felt like you were coming out of your skin. And for me, I'm no longer taking any anxiety medication, but I too have not gone off of my antidepressants, but they work. I think
the important thing to remember there is really check with your doctor first.
Yeah.
Because for a time there, my doctor had increased the dosage of my antidepressant. And so, of course, now I'm feeling so good. I actually said to him only a few weeks ago, look, can I reduce the dosage even to wean myself off of it? He says, why fix something that's not broken? You're calm now. And I don't think the doctor doesn't believe that, anything's changed. He doesn't know I've been drinking. He doesn't know to what extent I was drinking and that I had a problem. I think I mentioned it to him once many, many years ago. And he says, how much do you drink? I said, maybe on average 1 bottle every 2 days. Well, he goes, that's half a bottle a day. There's no problem there. That's okay.
Isn't that the shocking thing about the medical profession, I find, is like Matt's doctor, because he had some liver issues. He was like, you can keep drinking a couple a day. After that. And it's crazy to me that
it has to change. When I was pregnant, like my son's now 31. And all those years ago, if you mentioned that you were drinking while you're pregnant, that's okay. You can have, a glass or two every now and again, every couple of days.
Yeah.
Now you just don't do it at all while you're pregnant. So when is it going to be? Doctors used to encourage smoking too. When's it going to become like smoking, where it is seen that not even 1 glass is healthy for you? Can you imagine going to the petrol station and just guzzling some of the ethanol that's coming out there? I don't think so.
Not at $5 a gallon. Come on.
I know.
Yeah. Well, it's still cheaper than alcohol.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Oh. So
yeah, I think going to your doctor first to see if it's important, any changes. Yeah, because I'd hate to think that somebody gave up drinking, then said, "Hey, I'm feeling great. I don't need these tablets anymore," and then it's going to screw up a lot of things. So.
Yeah, for me, I have talked to my nurse practitioner, and I actually came clean with her, when I did quit, and I would have to say she was so supportive of, okay, this is great. And just even when I went in the next time, she was like, oh, how's it going? Not wanting to ask, I think just for fear that maybe I started drinking again. And I was like, nope, still doing this. It's going great. So I think that's a good, I feel really good when I go in to see her. And so I should have to say, it's not all medical professionals who are like that, but it is they're just
But
like us.
how many times did you go in before you'd actually did it for good? How many times had you had those day ones? And of course, every time you come in, how you going? Oh, well, I'm drinking again. And you feel like you're disappointing them too. So they're not sure. Are you serious? Or,
Yeah. I
they
just,
don't believe you in the end.
I just never really told her anything.
Oh.
You know what I mean? It was like,
too
scared to?
Mm.
let's just think about it. I mean, they know they usually will just, what is it? They triple the drink. If you tell them you drink one or two, the norm for them is they just double or triple it. So
that's 1 or 2, like before 10 o'clock.
So,
Well, and even if you assume that they're right, that half bottle a day is fine, cool. But to that point, nobody is telling their doctor the truth about that. Maybe anything, right? I mean, nobody tells their dentist they don't floss, right? I mean, come on. So same thing with the alcohol. Sure, if you're actually doing that, that might not be a problem. But not many people who would say that volume are actually doing that volume.
Well, it was 1 bottle every 2 or 3 days, only because I blacked out the 2 or 3 days beforehand.
And then you
you justify it.
Yeah.
It's funny, but you're right. We justify. I don't know about you, Amy or Matt, but I found hiding places here in my house of where's the best place that Jose is not going to look, of where I'm going to hide my alcohol.
Now, Jose, did you ever find it?
Yes.
You did not.
Empty bottles all the
Where?
time.
Oh, outside, but you don't know where I hid them while they were like in the house. You did not. You've been going through my wardrobe again. You've been borrowing my clothes again.
Hey,
It's like an episode.
you age.
It's like an episode of Maury Povich on here now.
No, Jerry Springer more like it.
Yeah. Confessions of a Guilty Conscience.
Well, it's funny. It's like, I've had when she first got here, I had a bottle of Crown Royal in the refrigerator.
Oh, come on, Jose. We're going back 13 years here.
Yeah,
Come on.
back when it'd been in the refrigerator for probably 3 or 4, maybe 4 or 5 years.
In the freezer.
In the freezer, not touched. And then one day it was gone. I was like, and she goes, "Well, that was pretty good whiskey." I'm like, "It was." Okay, now I don't think I ever broke the seal on it.
I did.
Yeah, somebody did. That little gremlin got it.
She thought you were saving it for. Maybe that was it, right? Yeah. It was a welcome to America.
Yeah.
I know. They had all these alcoholic drinks here I'd never seen back home in Australia. I had to try them all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we didn't have any of it there. Not in Australia.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Good thing she didn't try MD 20. What's it? MD 2020.
Yeah, Mad Dog 2020. Whew.
I never
that
even
fire
heard of
water.
Now we're dating ourselves.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yes.
2020.
Oh yeah.
2020 will give you a headache before you quit drinking
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
absolutely.
Just
So,
the smell.
yeah. So, Libby, tell us what's next for you. What do you have planned coming up?
Well, I plan on reducing my workload with my grooming a little bit further because I've had some other health issues I've had to deal with, which is more compromised from the grooming. And I absolutely love my job. It's just breaking my heart. So I'm hoping to build up my my coaching business. I've got some live virtual masterclasses coming up. So hopefully to be able to spread the word even further, maybe do some joint ventures with other people who've got big audiences to make sure I can spread the message even further. But yeah, I want to spread it far and wide as I can to make sure that others aren't going to go down the same road, the long road that I did. And of course, as we know, with the pandemic, while everybody else was taking up drinking, that was when I quit.
Yeah.
But yeah, the pandemic, the impending maybe recession coming economically in this country, and everyone's stressing about how they're going to pay for food and groceries, and which is food, but yeah, your petrol, getting to and from work. And I mean, everybody's stressed. These past 3 or 4 years, it's getting worse and it doesn't seem to be getting better. So I want to be a support to people who are going through that and having those drinks to try and cope, just helping them realize, hey, this is not going to make things worse, make things better for you. It's going to make it worse.
Yeah. And the thing about that too is the one thing that they're not going to cut out is their budget for their alcohol. We know that.
You know, it frustrates me too when people say, I need help, I want help. Oh, you're a coach, great. How much is it going to be? Well, when you tell them, they say, oh my God, I could never afford that. But they can always afford the alcohol, which is even more expensive than getting a coach to help you be free of that.
Yeah. Right. And I struggled with that myself. And I think the reason I struggled a lot with it was because I didn't want to add up what I was spending. Because if I did, then it was there right in front of my face. And it was like, oh, you know, so
even then you can justify it. I always put it into my grocery budget.
True. I think we did that.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah. Our drinking could have easily paid for 2 coaches in a heartbeat. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you've totaled it up, but, you know, you nickel and dime, you do it at a restaurant, that puts it over there. You put on this grocery bill, you do, you know, you mix it up a little bit and you never see a total. So it makes it easier, right?
Yeah.
Reality bites, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It really
Reality
does.
bites. And I've seen it many times when I was a younger police officer, the way the alcoholism just ruins a whole family. I mean, I don't know how many times that I've taken someone to jail because they were drunk, they beat up their wives, or they beat up their girlfriends, or their wives and girlfriends and their kids. And it really...
Drink driving would be another issue, but then I'm guilty of doing that as well. Oh, damn, I've run out of alcohol. I'm not feeling the effects of alcohol. I'll just hop in the car and drive. Oh my God, I don't know how I got through that. I really don't. Mm-hmm. And I feel so remorseful for doing that as well, putting others in danger. But man, I don't want to go back to those days.
I've seen the cause of DUI and it's horrible. I've literally, you know, had to call a fire truck to have people washed off the road.
Well, and you see that and you think, well, why would somebody want to stay in that situation? But no matter how deep your hole is, it's a comfortable spot, and no matter how deep it is, it always feels very hard to climb out of it, right? But from the outside looking in, it's like, well, it's easy. It's like, just stop doing it. Well, there's a lot, and you know, you coaches know this, right? There's a lot behind just stopping. But yeah, I'm sure Jose, you could tell stories all day long about the family impact, the relationship impact, the, you know, real life impact of, you know, of a DUI, or, you know, killing yourself, killing somebody else. I mean, you know, and Amy and I talk about frequently about, Libby, to your point about, you know, oh, I don't feel it, I'll just run out and grab something. You know, just by sheer dumb luck, we just didn't happen to get caught. I mean, that's, you know, mm-hmm. It wasn't like we weren't breaking the law, or we were okay to drive, air quotes. It's just, you know, we just happened to not get caught.
Yeah.
It's a matter of time, right, Jose? You know, time eventually catch up.
There was one time I actually had to fight a family because they wanted answers and I couldn't give them answers. And then there was another time a guy was actually trying to go get help, and he ended up crashing with someone right at the exit of the hospital he was trying to go to get help. And I took him to jail because he was drunk. Yeah. I had no choice. I mean, he
What happens, Jose, just curiosity, because I've never asked this, but these people who go to jail for some time before their court appearance or what have you, and they have issues with alcohol, do they go through any withdrawal symptoms in the jails if they're trying to get off alcohol, or do they miss alcohol or crave alcohol while they're in jail?
I don't know, because once I drop them off, that's the jail's problem, not mine.
So you don't
but I have stopped a few on more than one occasion, back to back. You know, there was one guy that I knew that I stopped him 3 times drunk. And one of my other guys stopped him one time drunk. And I mean, he was, as soon as I saw him, as soon as I looked in his eyes, I'm like, I knew he was drunk. So I pulled him over. Sure enough, he was drunk.
But I wonder if they would have the same cravings that we do, because they're actually away from the substance. Don't they say those people who went to war, those soldiers who went to war, they were on drugs over there, you know, to make them feel good or whatever, but they come back home and it's not, they're out of the same environment. They don't crave it as much. I don't know, but that would be interesting to see, but you don't know about that.
I'm sure.
I just thought I'd ask in case.
I would think that if somebody who is just who's drinking constantly, I'm sure they go through some type of withdrawal, but then they provide them with medical assistance while in the hospital, while in jail. Sure. They'll take them to the hospital till they get through it, and then they just bring them back. That's if they're still there.
Yeah. And
a lot of times when they get stopped and get arrested, just for the initial charge before the court date, they're released on bond and everything, and they can go out and do it again if they want. There's no restriction for them.
And I'm sure, Jose, you probably have seen, the generational effects as well with your former job, and how it affects, families, and then the kids, and it just perpetuates.
It keeps going. It doesn't stop. At one point you're arresting dad, and then years later you're arresting the son or the daughter. And it just keeps going because I think
it's a cultural thing, because it obviously is predominantly, focused in your culture. And then in Australian culture, we're huge drinkers in Australia. You think there's a big problem here in America, but I think certain cultures see that as being Sunday afternoon barbecue. That's what we do.
But I just don't think I don't think anybody's immune from it. I mean,
but I think some cultures tend to see it more as more normal. But then, having said that, here in America, you can buy alcohol in your grocery stores. It's like, Mummy and Daddy just pick up a bottle of wine with groceries on the way home from the nightly shopping. We don't have that in Australia. So even though we have a huge problem, we can't buy alcohol with our food.
Wow.
So a lot of dynamics that play a part, I think.
Yeah.
But I would say, though, I mean, just from my experience with different families, German, like my background's German. So it's like, Germans drink a lot of beer, German beer. And then, my first marriage was to a guy, and he was Irish, and that their whole family was
Irish drink a lot
Irish,
too.
we're going to drink. So I'm like, I think it's just the excuse, also part of it.
Did you hear about big drunks in Finland? Like, I never do.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know.
I guess we should take a road trip. Well, speaking.
Yeah, good road trip. Let's go to Finland, darling.
Finland, see what we can always ask your friend Nina, see what they do over there.
Oh, don't be silly.
Oh gosh. So we're to our last question. Do you guys have a favorite alcohol-free drink?
Drink of the week.
Apart from coffee? Yeah. I love my kombuchas. Now that it's really hot, kombucha.
Okay.
I'm just all of a sudden wanting to be tasting all these different kombuchas. I don't think I'll be in fact, I know I will not be triggered if I was to have alcohol-free wines and beers, but it just doesn't seem to interest me at all.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is just coffee and Coke Zero, and what was that other?
You don't drink coffee.
Yes, I do.
He wasn't a real police officer. He didn't drink
Are you guys
coffee.
married? I don't know. You don't drink.
He didn't eat donuts. He wasn't a real police officer, and he's not a real Hispanic either. He doesn't like beans.
No beans and no coffee. How can you be a Hispanic police officer?
What was that other drink? The death, the one that we get over at Sprouts.
Oh, you don't remember it?
I forgot.
I don't know. It's all to do with death and something really horrible. Of course, it's up his alley.
Yeah.
Is it Liquid Death?
That's it.
Liquid
That's
death.
it.
Yeah.
I love Liquid Death. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Liquid Death.
Yeah.
That's my.
All
my drink.
right. There we go.
You only wanted that because of the name of it.
Yeah.
I have my standards. They're low, but I got them.
Irony is, it's just water, but it's still fun.
Well, thank you guys for being on. We are really excited that you wanted to be a part of our show. And thank you
for inviting us on, because, this is your first couple. This is our first time being on a podcast, and it's the first time I've shared even part of my story. So thank you for letting me share.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
We appreciate it.
And I'll send you my information with regards to my business name and a little picture real soon.
Yeah, and send your links and everything, and we will put that in the show notes.
But what is your URL? Where do people find you, Libby?
Brave Start Life Coaching.
Awesome.
Awesome. All right.
Well, thank you so
What's
much.
that movie? They took off that movie, Braveheart, but I couldn't get Braveheart, so I got Brave Start.
Oh, that works.
I have a poster. I can look right over, and Braveheart. It's right there. I have a movie
poster. You can
poster
think
up.
of me every time you look at it.
Oh, that's so great. So, well, thank you so much, guys, and we will see you guys soon.
Right.
Okay.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Oh, thank you, Libby and Jose, for being on the Alcohol Free Marriage podcast. That was so much fun. Such an awesome couple. kind of remind me of us a little bit. Just kind of
Funnier?
fun. Probably a little bit. Yeah.
They are a riot.
They are
I love
dynamic.
'em.
Definitely a lot of fun.
I can't wait. I think we're gonna off air
podcast.
We talked about maybe going down and seeing them sometime down in
We got some-
Atlanta.
We got some people down there, so
no, we could make a little. I mean,
if nothing else, we got some free lodging. So
we have. I know several people down there now.
I know. We know people. It's a
We
thing.
do know people.
So yes, thank you, Libby and Jose, for joining us. If you'd like to be on the podcast, feedback at afmpodcast.com is always an option. Coach Amy's is always available at amy@jointherside.com. Yes.
And remember, the live alcohol experiment is going to be starting in July. I will be mentoring in it, so please, if you are sober curious, you just want to take a break from alcohol,
That's your ticket right there, kids.
do it. It is a amazing program.
All right. Well, with that being said, I think that's it for us. I am Matt, along with Coach Amy, wishing you peace and love from the cornfields, and we are out.